Hey there, budgeteers. Are you ready to unlock the power of each payday and take control of your finances like a boss? Introducing the Payday Power Planner from New Money Habits. This isn't your average budgeting tool. Oh no. With the Payday Power Planner, you'll harness the unique rhythm of your paychecks to supercharge your financial game. Say goodbye to the confusion of monthly budgets and hello to the clarity of every payday. You'll know exactly when money is coming in and when it's going out, giving you the edge you need to stay on top of your finances. But that's not all. With the Payday Power Planner, you'll easily spot whether you're rocking a surplus or facing a deficit. Armed with this knowledge, you'll make informed decisions that set you up for financial success. It's time to transform your relationship with money and create the new money habits you need to achieve financial freedom. Get your hands on the Payday Power Planner from New Money Habits today and start making every dollar count. Don't let financial stress hold you back. Create a better plan for your money and seize the power of your pay period and thrive with the Payday Power Planner. Visit newmoneyhabits.com now to grab your free copy and unleash your financial potential. On this episode of the New Money Habits podcast, we continue our conversation with our very special guest, the money makeunder and spending coach, Mary Ann Stenquist. What's up, budgeteers, and welcome to the New Money Habits podcast. I'm your host and one of the co-founders at New Money Habits, Coach Nino. And today on the New Money Habits podcast, Mary Ann and I sit down to talk about the 6 types of overspenders. If you have any questions, be sure to hit us up on social at New Money Habits and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen to your podcasts. If you want to help out the show, consider leaving a 5-star rating and review. We cannot thank you enough for leaving those 5-star ratings and reviews. They truly help us to spread this message of hope to people looking for a better plan for their money. Now let's get into today's episode. So we've talked at length about necessity spenders, but you said there's 6 types. So can you walk us through these 6 types of shoppers and briefly describe each one?
Yes. So the necessity spender, as we've said, spends most of their money on necessities, and they're things that are needed for the household, and they're usually for themselves and for family members or close friends. And the purchase depends on the need for the item. And we gave a lot of examples of things that are necessities, but when out of balance, they can be kind of skewed, where it's a necessity, but it could go either way. And then we have the bargain spender. The bargain spender spends most of their money on bargains, and the purchase depends on the price, not necessarily the item. And so it's the price that gets them, and they usually say, well, I'll find a use for it. I know someone that needs this. I'll find a good person to get this if I'm not going to keep it. And so it's that price that gets them.
I just say, I have 2 different friends who that is them to a T. I end up with a lot of yummy food because they are bargain spenders. They buy things that at times they'll even admit, like, we don't really, this is not something we enjoy. This is not something we typically eat. This is not something we buy. I'm like, so why do you have it? Oh, it was a great deal.
It's a great deal. And it's funny, I saw something the other day that was like, no one will ever know that I bought this dress for $5. And then it's like also me. I love your dress. Oh, I got it for $5. Like, we're so proud to say I got this for this low price. And it is. It's like, and that's the thing. It's not a bad thing. Bargains are amazing. And I have a friend that she can find a bargain in a black hole. But it's that in excess, and she ends up trying to like resell and do a lot of things. And so it's like in balance. And, I went Black Friday Christmas shopping, and I heard someone explain like, oh my gosh, this is such a good deal on headphones. Do I need headphones? Do I know someone who needs headphones? Who needs headphones? And so it just, that's the bargain spender. It's the price is what determines the purchase. And then the emotional spender, they spend most of their money during times of heightened emotion. Now, this can be times of positive heightened emotion or negative heightened emotion. And so for positive, it's to reward yourself for an amazing day at work, a bonus. You're doing amazing as a mom, stay-at-home mom, just rewarding those positive feelings and kind of making them last with a purchase. And then the negative emotions, the purchase is an escape. It's to get away from that negative emotion. It's to feel better about your situation. And as an example, I remember I was very pregnant and very over it. And I was scrolling my phone and I looked up and I saw this lady and she was just head to toe. She just dressed like immaculate. And I could just tell she had it all together. I knew nothing about her, but she did. She had it all together based on what she was wearing. And everything had been handpicked. And I was looking at my outfit and I was like, everything has been handpicked off the floor. And that was such an interesting experience for me. And it actually shaped my shopping habits because as an emotional spender, I shop for that image. I shop because I want to be that person, that woman, that person that walks into the room and has it all put together. And yet I am not living that life. I have two young kids, two cats, a husband that doesn't work inside the home, and it's crazy. And we shop for the fantasy self, for the fantasy life, and it's not the life we're actually living. And so the emotional spender spends during those times of either the positive, euphoric emotions or the negative to get away from them.
Let me ask you this real quick, because so without knowing these different types of spenders, there's a certain time of year, or it can happen throughout the year in other places too. But when I'm coaching my clients, one of the things that I have them do is months before the Christmas season and months before somebody's birthday, like when there's no birthday, when there's no Christmas season, I have them come up with a budget for Christmas spending and for spending on things like gifts for birthdays and anniversaries. And one of the reasons I say we do that when we're outside of those seasons is because I'm trying to get them to let go of the emotion that what I've noticed, and again, without the same expertise that you bring to the table, but I'm wondering if you see a correlation here, is I've noticed that my clients, if they do not plan for Christmas early and when they have no emotion tied to it, that it is really easy to overspend because they either feel guilty that they've procrastinated or they feel like they're not doing enough and that they need to do more. And so there's all this emotionally charged spending happening. And so early on, I witnessed this over and over and over again. And I was like, we got to solve for this. We're going to start planning your Christmas budget in August when you're not concerned with it's right around the corner and I haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, right, right. And at that point, money's not an object, even though it is. You just are like, well, I don't have time to comparison shop and bargain shop, and so that's very wise. But yeah, emotions are huge, and marketers play on that. They play on the emotions, and and they also play on. They know that we love bargains, and I've actually started shopping before Christmas because I know and I've seen how marketers jack up the prices and then bring it down. And it was cheaper months ago, but it's on sale now, even though it was more expensive. And so it's just really interesting to see how our emotions get played on. And it's not like a vindictive thing. It's their businesses out to make money and it's fine. We just need to equip ourselves with the tools to overcome that and not and become unshoppable. That's kind of where I coined the term is overcome that urge to shop so that we're not dependent on it. And I've learned in this journey that I started out with this desire to, spend less in the areas you don't care about so you can spend more in the areas you do. But as I've gone on this journey and I'm still on the journey to become unshoppable, I really feel like I've I've gained a better understanding of how much I don't like shopping. I feel so much freedom not shopping. And I feel like I'm not, I just was spending all my time and all my money shopping and thinking about what to buy. And it's all consuming. And our lives don't need to be consumed by that. We can admire something without buying it. We don't have to fall prey to that. And I've also said often fill your heart and not your cart, because often it's our hearts that need the filling, not our carts.
Yeah, I did a episode recently where I spoke about storing up treasures, right? So I share a lot of biblical principles in the podcast, and so when we think about the teaching of storing up treasures in heaven rather than on earth, right? Like what unmet need is going unfulfilled there. And I want to make sure that our listeners heard what you said a moment ago, and that is marketers know our tendencies, right? And you said it's not vindictive, right? It's not necessarily done out of malice, but it is done by design.
Mm-hmm.
It is done by design. So marketers know heightened emotions, the the pressures of procrastination, and the idea of bargain shopping all play into how we end up spending around the holidays. And so one of the reasons I have my clients start thinking about this stuff in August is I want them to be able to take advantage of all those great bargains come Black Friday.
Yeah.
And for too many, when I first start working with them, to participate in Black Friday, there was absolutely no pre-planning going into it.
Yeah.
So they go and they participate in Black Friday, but they haven't saved the money yet. They haven't thought about who they're buying for. They haven't thought about how much are they willing to spend on certain people. So yes, it's all done
Absolutely.
by design to drive a particular outcome to help them make their fourth quarter profits, good, bad, or indifferent. It just is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you can't go to the store unarmed. You have to know what you want, what you're going to the store for, and otherwise you will be inspired as to what to buy. I don't let the store tell you what you need. You tell the store what you need and find
I was
it.
going to ask you if you had heard about that trend. Like, I go to Target and I let Target tell me what I want. No.
No.
And for a guy like me, I'm kind of a hunter shopper, so I've done
Yes.
all of the pre-planning. Then I'm like, I go in, I know exactly what aisle I'm going to. I grab the item, I go to checkout, and then I leave. It's very, very different if
Yeah.
my better half is with me. Then it's not as
The experience. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So let me circle us back. You had talked about a couple of the different shopping types. And
Mhm.
so we've talked a little bit about the necessity spender. We got onto the emotional spender. What other types are out there?
Yeah, so we've done the necessity spender, the bargain spender, and the emotional spender. The last three are is the impulsive spender. Now, the impulsive spender spends most of their money on impulse, meaning that the purchases weren't planned for in advance. So, like we were just saying, they were inspired by what to buy at Target, and they purchase it. And it usually depends on the item, but it's also there's an element of scarcity. You see one or two left and you're like, oh, I don't want to miss out on this. I don't want to not have it if I don't, when I need it. And there's also, if there is a bargain, you don't want to miss out on the price. It's never going to be at this price again. You're kind of scared to miss out and scared to not have it when you need it. So, I can see you smiling. I'm sure that.
I laugh because this was years ago, but some 5, 7 odd years ago, right after Easter, Cadbury eggs were on sale in the clearance section, right? And a pack of 5, which would cost you like, I don't even know how much, $2.50 nowadays. I don't know.
Yeah.
Each one was on sale for like 25 cents.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I got $11 worth. That's like 44 boxes of Cadbury. Because where was I ever going to get them at 25 cents a pop for
Oh
a
my
box of
gosh.
5?
See, now here's where the spending type comes into play. So I'm an emotional spender, and so I missed out. We were on vacation during Easter and I missed out. I didn't buy the Cadbury eggs. I came back. I was so disappointed that I missed out on the Cadbury eggs. I bought some on Amazon and I got like 4 for $7. Like that was a ripoff, but I was like, I want my Cadbury eggs. It's ridiculous. Like I was gypped and I willingly was like, yes, I want those eggs. I mean, there's no logic to that, but logic is just gone at that point. I was like, I want my eggs and I don't want to wait until next year.
Wow.
So, so yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens and there's a reason behind it. And it's so easy to be like, oh gosh, like have some self-control. But for everyone, we have our own thing. Everyone has their own thing. And yeah, even another impulse decision I made was a purse. I really love purses, and I found the perfect purse that was the perfect mint green that I've been looking for forever, and it was just such a thing. And I pulled it down, and it had some embellishments on it, and I was like, I don't like embellishments. I like it to be plain and solid. So I asked the cashier. I said, "Do you have anything without this?" And she said, "No, we don't keep those. They're so popular." And I've been looking for months, and so I bought it, even though I was like, "I don't like this. I don't like the embellishments, but I love the color." I was scared to miss out. There was only one left. Never gonna get it again. And I was like, I'll live with the embellishments. Well, sure enough, when I got home, the thing that bothered me in the store was the thing that bothered me when I got home. I literally said, "Do you have another purse just like this without the embellishment?" We say that, and then I even told myself, if I don't like it, I can take it back. Why are we buying something that we say, if I don't want it, I'll take it back? Then you shouldn't buy it. Easier said than done. There are just so many things that defy logic when we're spending.
Yeah, much easier said than done. And I find myself saying it all the time.
Yes. Yes. And that's why I'm very like non-judgmental. I try to share my own Cadbury egg stories, things like that, because it's like I'm human. I'm struggling just like you. We're all in this journey together to become unshoppable because it is. It's a lifelong journey especially for overspenders. So yeah, so that's the impulsive spender, and then we have the passive spender. So the passive spender spends most of their money on it's really just a variety of things. And for the passive spender, it's like the name implies, it's passive spending, meaning that money is not intrinsically motivating for them. And so when choosing between money and the item they want, they're always going to choose the item because that is more valuable to them than money. So there are people that are like, you only live once,
Mm.
money's meant to be spent. You just got to embrace the opportunities when they come, otherwise you miss out on them. And so for them, you have to find something that's more motivating than money. You have to find something that they can use their money for. Otherwise, it's just going to be spent passively without really thinking consciously.
Yeah, and you just said something that I want to unpack there for a second. You have to find something that they want more. So you've hinted at it a couple of times that sometimes we're even spending money on things we don't want, and we're overspending in categories that we don't really care about. What have you learned about that paradigm? That just sounds kind of oxymoronic. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care about this category or I don't want this thing, but I'm going to overspend on it anyway.
Yeah. In the moment, we aren't thinking logically. The only logic is getting to the store and seeing something, I like that. And then it's I want it, and then logic just goes out the window. We get emotions in it, and we'll have little thoughts like, oh, I don't need it. Oh, it's not that great. But then we'll have the justifications of I deserve it. I've worked so hard. It's been so long since I've spent money. There's all these reasons, and to our brain, that's almost like permission. It's logic. It's you have a reason. go for it. And I also think that, well, it's backed by science that our brain is very poor at evaluating quality when it's looking at just one item. So if it's just item specific, if you just had a sweater that you were looking at and it was $39.99, you wouldn't know the value of that sweater. You wouldn't, it's subjective. It's depending on the person. But if you have the sales price of the $39.99 and now it's down to $19.99, then you have a comparison point. It's half the price. It's how much reduced. Same with having something we want versus something we want more. We have to have something constantly in our mind that we want more than anything, because that will be the comparison point. If we don't have a comparison point, we're going to get the cheeseburger every time. We're going to get the Cadbury eggs every time. We're going to get whatever it is every time because we don't have a comparison point. The brain just says, I want it, let's get it. But when you compare it to something, then you can say, well, I want this, but I don't want it as much as this. And unfortunately, we lose that because it's the I I want this and I want this. I can buy either, but I can't have both. We've lost that with credit cards and with debit cards, with credit cards, because we have access to money that we don't have. And we also have, even with debit cards, we have access to money. We don't realize that the $20 we just spent for the first thing we wanted is gone. We can't get that $20 back. But we think, I'll just spend another $20 and get both. We've spent 40, but it's all lost in the numbers. It's lost in the swipes. It's lost in just, I don't want to have to choose. I don't want to have to restrict myself. And so having that comparison point really helps us to have that bigger picture in mind and kind of challenge ourselves and say, do I want this? Do I really want this? Or, and what's an even better question is, how much money would this put toward the thing I want? And that gives you more of a motivation. How much closer does it get me to my goal? That gives you more of a motivation to say no to something that you don't really want as much as your real motivation. So a good example of this is and actually what changed my spending, it changed the desire almost overnight, was I've been saying for years, I want to change, I should be better, I should spend less, all the things. And then I've been struggling with chronic migraine for 5 years every day. And it's just been so hard, so debilitating. 2 young kids, it's just been exhausting. And I would have given anything to pay for childcare, to afford house cleaning services, to afford just little luxuries to help me survive and just like live a somewhat normal life and to just get help. But I looked at the budget and it was like, we can't afford that. And yet all this money was being spent unintentionally on clothing and accessories and purses that I didn't really care about and hadn't worn half of them. And I would have given that money over in a heartbeat had I been thinking about, well, what am I sacrificing by buying this purse? And we don't think about that in the moment, but we need to have that thing of greater value in our mind. And so often we think, I want this, but I can't afford it. I want this, but I can't afford it. And ask yourself, what little luxuries would you love to have in your life? For some people like me, it's meal delivery services. I'm not a big fan of cooking. I prefer to put my time towards my passions, my business, my family. And for others, it's little luxuries like picking their kids up from school, or it's going hiking, every morning and cutting work hours. Whatever that is, have that be your motivation, and you'll be surprised how quickly your mindset will change. It's like, I really want those morning hikes way more than I want the new shoes in front of me. It puts things into tangible perspective, and it's much more attainable especially when we see all the money that's being spent unintentionally. And that's what was so motivating for me. I was almost anti-budget before because it felt restrictive to me. And then I saw all the spending that was happening and I went, oh my gosh, I could have afforded childcare for 6 months with all of my spending that I've been doing. And yet I had no idea. And so seeing that money and saying, I can put this towards something I really care about and actually have a good financial foundation that I've been craving, it's so much more motivating than saying, I have to cut back. I have to do this. I have to. What about I can do this and I want to do this? That's much more powerful and motivating.
Mm. Yes, but then I need the new hiking shoes in order to
I know,
go
I just
hiking
thought
every
that.
month.
Nope. Stay strong. You can use your old shoes.
Hey there, budgeteers. Are you tired of feeling like your finances are running the show? Well, it's time to flip the script and take charge of your money with New Money Habits Financial Coaching. This isn't your typical financial advice. New Money Habits is about empowering you with the knowledge and tools you need to make savvy money moves and build a solid financial foundation. Here's the deal. We're offering a free discovery session to kickstart your journey to financial freedom. Yep, you heard me right. Free. In this session, one of our experienced coaches will help you to pinpoint your financial goals and create a better plan for your money. We're talking about mastering your money mindset, picking up practical money management skills, and having someone to hold you accountable along the way. So, if you're ready to kiss financial stress goodbye and say hello to a brighter financial future, then schedule your free session today to create the new money habits you need to achieve financial freedom.
The last spending type is the saving spender. And it sounds like I'm an oxymoron, but the saving spender, they're both a saver and a spender. The truth is, we're all savers and spenders at different times in our life. But for the saving spender, it's more cyclical. And so they'll go through periods of intense saving and then they'll go through periods of intense spending. And it's usually the periods of spending follow, or the periods of saving follow like intense spending. And it's like, oh, I need to do better. So they'll start saving, saving, saving. And then they'll feel like, oh, I've been saving so much, I deserve to treat myself, and they'll start spending. And so this cycle is almost like the up and down. You can see it like it's very cyclical. And so for them, they're almost at war between you only live once, and then they want that like security financially. And so they're just at war with, wanting both at different times. And so you kind of need to find that middle ground.
That's interesting because as you're explaining that, I can almost see that cycle of I'm doing this because I feel guilty. So I was spending. Now I'm saving because I felt guilty. I relieve the guilt some because I've done a good job saving. So now I go back into the spending cycle because I want to reward myself, to only then become frustrated with myself and feel guilty again. And that's a vicious cycle. I
It
feel
is.
for them.
It
Oh my
is.
goodness.
Oh, it's so vicious. And I've actually learned something about guilt. It's actually a tool of the brain to get what it wants. And when I heard this, I went, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Now, this is one person's perspective on it, but I can totally see it. So a lot of the time, oh, it's Ramit Sethi. That's who was talking about it. So he's popular with his book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. And he talked about guilt. The funny thing about guilt is we use it and say, oh, I spent so much. Okay, I'm just not going to spend. And then we see something we want and we go, that guilt keeps us from buying it. And we just, oh, I spent so much. I just can't. I can't. And then we just put it off. We put it off. We put it off. We put it off because the guilt is still fueling that from the past guilt of past spending decisions. But our brain knows that that guilt will eventually wear off. We'll make a purchase and then the guilt will come again. And it was, I'm so terrible. It knows that guilt will eventually get it what it wants because it's like, we'll feel it for a little bit and then it'll wear off and then we'll get what we want anyway. And then we'll just feel bad about it. I went, oh my gosh, that's just, wow. That's some heavy stuff. So instead of guilt, I think we need to look at it as, like using that guilt as you know, why did I buy it, and did it really meet the need that I wanted it to? I think and guilt and shame is an emotion that actually helps us when we feel bad about something we did. It actually psychologically trains us to look at our values and what we value most. But we tend to do the opposite. We tend to shy away from it, and we tend to just go and escape from the guilt. And so looking at what you value, well, what did you purchase? Is it something you value? The guilt might not be from spending. It might be from what you bought. It might be from the amount you spent. What is that guilt saying? And use that as a tool instead of, again, bringing out that beating stick.
So what I'm hearing is be reflective.
Yeah.
So like the task that you have your clients perform where they go through the receipts and start to identify why they did what they did, they're being reflective. And so you can use guilt to be more reflective about your values. I'm a big fan of spend according to your values, right?
Yeah,
and
same.
my wife and I had to do this where we were kind of looking at our budget, and we realized there's an awful lot of money being spent on, one, some things we don't use, but two, even if we did use them, like TV streaming apps and satellite and all this stuff, it's like, does that really align with the way we want to spend our time and the things that we value?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, we'd much rather do these other things that allow us to spend more time together as a family or whatever. So it's like, all right, we got rid of the satellite and we got rid of some subscriptions that we weren't using. And it was like, all right.
And that's freeing. It's like, look how much money we freed up on things we weren't even using and didn't even care about. Like
Yep.
that's the approach that's what got me to change. Was, wow, I really don't want that much money to be spent on all of this. It's not doing anything for me. Let's be honest. It makes me feel good, but it was kind of masking a deeper void, and I was buying things but I was actually buying items that were direct replicas of things on Pinterest for a cheaper price, but I was trying to be creative, but I was using outfits that were already created, and it was like I was stifling my creativity and trying to buy these items that were already created in someone else's mind. And I realized that, like, the freedom of expression and creativity and just wearing what I have and creating my own outfits, and then it led to discovering, like, the creativity in myself with my spending habits, and then my business, just being reflective about what you're buying and what it says about you. Or is it really meeting your needs, or is it just something that you're doing to pass the time?
We've run out of time on today's special episode of the New Money Habits podcast. Be sure to join us again next time when we continue our conversation with Marianne Stenquist, the money maker and spending coach on a mission to help people curb their overspending. That does it for this episode of the New Money Habits podcast. Remember, if you have any questions, make sure to hit us up on social at New Money Habits and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review to help us spread this message of hope to people looking for a better plan for their money.